The Shape of Water is a romantic fantasy film directed by Guillermo del Toro and stars Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, and Octavia Spencer. Before I begin, I have to be completely honest. I am not that huge a fan of Del Toro's films. If I was to review every single Del Toro film, not a single one will get a score higher than 8. Now, for those who really like Del Toro's films, I respect your opinion, but none of his films have ever really connected with me until The Shape of Water. This film was beautiful. And this is easily my favorite Del Toro film. And I could go into each aspect of this movie and talk about it forever, but I don't want to make this review long. So I'll just give the short version on each one. The music by Alexandre Desplat is quirky, yet beautiful and fascinating. And there's such a fairy tale quality to this music as well, and I definitely believe the score for this film should win the Oscar for Best Original Score. The whole story feels like something out of a fairy tale. For those who've seen Del Toro's film Pan's Labyrinth, that too also has a fairy tale quality to it, where with Pan's Labyrinth it felt like Alice in Wonderland. With The Shape of Water, it felt like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast combined. And the way Del Toro directs these stories, it feels like an anti-Disney film, because while these films do feel like fairy tales, they are very dark for a reason. There's a lot of blood, a lot of swearing. There's quite a bit of nudity in The Shape of Water. If this story was pitched to Disney, they would shut it down straight away. But the best thing about any Del Toro film is you know it's him that's directing it. Del Toro is the only one who would do this type of story, and I strongly believe he should win Best Director. Something that I was very pleased with. The film, for the most part, used practical effects. With the creature you see in the film, he really was there. There's only a few moments you could tell that they had to use CGI, but the CGI on the creature was used sparingly. For the most part, this thing really looks like it was there and it felt like it was there. So when Sally Hawkins is interacting with this thing, you believe she's interacting with a creature. Getting into the performances, everyone does a really good job. Octavia Spencer, like usual, does a really good job. Michael Shannon plays an over-the-top villain. The two that surprised me the most was Sally Hawkins and Richard Jenkins. There's a certain innocence and sweetness to their characters, as these two are the only friends they have, and the interactions they have with each other is charming, to say the least. But if I had to pick who the shining star was, Sally Hawkins easily. For a good percent of this movie, she does not say a word. Her entire character communicates through sign language, and when she forms a romance with a creature, there is no talking. The way they form this connection is through sign language and interaction. Getting back to Sally Hawkins' character, you really feel for her. You really feel like she's all alone in her own world, and when she comes across this creature, she finds something that makes her fully complete now. And character development like that in this film is done masterfully. Unfortunately, I did have problems with this movie, even though I didn't want to have problems with this movie, because truly and honestly, I love this film. But like a lot of other Del Toro films, problems in his previous films still linger in this film. Certain character interactions and choices I felt were questionable and could have been executed a lot better. Plus, they try to make Michael Shannon's character a sympathetic character at one point in the movie, showing that he has wife and kids. But the majority of this film, he is a despicable villain, and it's really hard to feel sorry for him. So stuff like that I felt like could have been fixed easily, but none of the problems I stated ruined this movie. Overall, I found this to be beautiful, enchanting, enthralling, magical, and masterfully done. From the music to the direction to the way this film was shot, to the characters that are performed phenomenally well by all the actors. And while I'm behind 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri to win Best Picture at the Oscars, deep down inside me, I'm kinda rooting for The Shape of Water to win. For me, The Shape of Water is the underdog film to win. Because if this fantasy film won Best Picture, it would change the way Best Picture films are nominated. And if you look at all the Best Picture winners, not a lot of them are fantasy films. The last major fantasy film to win was The Lord of the Rings. And if The Shape of Water was to win, it would change the type of films that will get nominated in the future. And I'm going to give The Shape of Water a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thank you for watching.